My name is Tmod and I run a brand podcast. I call it a platform, Meet Up with Tmod. It's the platform where I get to document story of young people that are doing amazing things over there in their space. And the major thing I want to always emphasize when I have conversation with great people like you is just to give us your templates, not to adopt, but to adapt, check some of the things you did and see how we can adopt some of them to enhance our journey to becoming or to achieving our goals. And before I start proper, I want to give you some minutes to just do a brief introduction about yourself so that people that are meeting you for the first time can tend to move on inviting or interviewing.
Okay. Hi, my name is Person Abeng. Most people know me as a branding and communications professional, and I've done that in so many different ways. I've been the CMO and co-founder of a tech nonprofit that eventually got acquired by a unicorn. Currently, I'm the co-founder of an edtech nonprofit focused on increasing the earning power of African youth. I'm also director of communications there. And so far, we've trained 132,000 people and placed thousands of them in jobs. Um, but when all of that is not happening, I'm just a lady who likes to experiment, see the world from a new light, have new experiences, and just be a catalyst to helping people's lives be better.
I first thing I want to talk to you about is you founding getting to look into creating a non-profit organization. And one of the things that crossed my mind when I get to see people that own a brand is why do you have to own a brand since you're doing well with yourself as a career woman, you're working already with big brands already. So why do you think you want to put on more responsibility on yourself and just own a brand, not profit brand per se?
I mean,
Oh,
I think that brands are they exist in different ways. So for example, you already have a personal brand, whether you like it or not. The question is it a brand that you want? Um, when you work with other brands as well, you have great experiences with them, and different people have different paths. I don't think anyone is better than the other. I always think that, it just depends on the path that you find yourself. Some people like to, you know, be part of something, be part of an experience based on that is run by other people because the stress is less. Somebody else has to worry about salaries and all those things. You just have to show up, do your job, and get paid every
exactly.
month. Exactly. It's stressless. I think employees are the ones like they enjoy the biggest flex ever. But some other people can thrive better, like better, so much better with working and doing like building something from scratch, while there are people who maybe someone else builds it from scratch and then they bring them on to come and be part of it. Whichever way anybody's path finds, just ensure that whatever you're doing it well, you're giving it your best, and you're doing it with excellence. So in my own scenario, I founded a company a long time ago. And when I did, we served hundreds of clients and we did our best. We gave it our best shot. Our work became very obvious. The reason I'd done that at the time wasn't because I wanted to start a brand. It was more like I saw an opportunity. I saw a need that people needed, like people needed help with. And I had the solution to that problem. So I decided to put it together. I think people pressured me to do it, but I put it together and served that need. Everybody who starts a company is filling a gap in one way or
Mm.
the other. And there's even data that shows that businesses are often the lifeblood of an economy because they're the ones who would serve people and then employ people and pay people and just keep the economy sort of running. So all of those things, like everybody has their part to play. I chose to be part of this organization because the vision aligned with me. What it was about made sense to me, and there was a need. And I plugged in and I filled it. Um, and empowered people now and the way that we have built Ingressive for Good right now, the nonprofit is in a way that even if all of the founders, every single one of us decide, we don't want to be founders anymore, the passion that our team has is sufficient to be able to run it, and you would not even know that there's no co-founder there. Just the team is super, super passionate, and that's the kind of thing that I like, where you can build something that is so much bigger than you, that
mm,
other people catch the vision, is
mm,
contagious, and they run with it, whether or not you're alive, whether or not you're present. So yeah, I think if you find a need and nobody else is feeling it in the way that you think it
mm.
should be filled,
I
don't
love
stop
that
yourself.
piece.
Yeah, just do it. What's the worst that could happen? You could fail. But if you fail, you've given another person a template on what not to do. And so if someone else decides to start, they will do it even better. And it's not just about the money that they would make, it's about the kind of change that would happen because you empowered it. One good thing I talk about a lot is how um Charles Babbage founded Abacus, and that laid the foundations for computers. Is about how there was a guy who in 1800s founded the prototype or came up with the idea for an airplane, but the Wright brothers built on that idea 100 years later before they flew the first airplane that they experienced. If that first guy did not fail, maybe the Wright brothers wouldn't have their shot. If he didn't make those mistakes and come up with his own ideas and philosophy, just sort of laid the foundations that the Wright brothers could build on, we probably would not be here today. So don't just do it for yourself, do it for the world.
Of course, I don't know why I'm so. Should I say I'm shocked or amazed? Because of course, someone that is not so intelligent cannot be a food waste. So I don't know why. Wow. So I've because of what I do, I've been so privileged to meet a lot of great people, and it's obvious that they are intelligent and they are smart. Let me use that word. I'm always like, what is the factor? What's the underlying factor? I ask everyone this question: what's the underlying factor that drives you to become someone that is a visionaire, someone that wants to achieve something in life? Some people are so contented with what they have. Some people are contented with being a civil servant. It's secure. There's security. They can stay there. They can build one house. They can buy a car. At least some people like moderate life. What would you say is the underlying factor that made you become so courageous to be a visionary, to be someone that is ready to take up risks and use what you have to gain more? What will you say is the underlying factor for you? Because it's something I really want to know
Okay.
about.
I think everyone was brought up differently, but beyond being brought up differently, I think different people have different levels of contentment. I am yet to reflect and really dig deeper into what influences everybody's level of contentment. But I think that there is a place of fear, and there's a place of dreams, right? So some people are scared um to go after what it is that they want. Some people are not, because when they think what's the worst that could happen, they'll probably think what's the best also that could happen. There's also dreams. Everybody's dream looks different. What is happiness to me is totally different from someone else. Some people just want to have a simple family and just be happy in their home. Some people don't even want a family, they just want a husband or wife, and they want to travel the world with that person. Happiness is different to different people, and it also has to do with a level of contentment. However, there are also some people who look beyond their contentment and ask themselves, like, so they're not necessarily chasing something for their contentment, but they're thinking, what can we do to make this world better? My underlying factor is simple. I spent some time reflecting, and I said, it's not possible that we came to this world to just make money and die. If that was the reality, I should have taken my money and go to wherever I'm going to when I die. It's my money. But you don't take your money. You don't take your glory. You don't take your roles. The one single factor that I've seen consistent across every single thing and every single generation is contribution, where one person finds out something, another person builds on that thing. The world is so different from where it was like 100, 200, 1,000 years ago. We've grown, and that's just because people are risking their lives to contribute. There was a time where science people died for practicing science. There was a time where some things were not the norm. There was a time where people couldn't vote. There was a time where Black people were not seen as full human beings, but different people contributed their time, their voices, their knowledge to push together things that could be catalyst for change. And so that's my thing. I think that if I die, it's only what I contribute that will continue to live on. And yes, I may not take it with me, but the people who are coming after me would have a better life and the world would just be a bit better. That gives me happiness. So I'm always happy to share. I'm always happy to share whatever knowledge I have. Anything I find out, I share, put it out there. I'm not scared of my ideas being stolen. We all exist to contribute in one way or the other. Some people's driving force is bigger than others. Some people have problems that you need to solve for. Some people just want to be able to provide for their family and ensure that their families have better lives. For me, I grew up just wanting to make the world better, and it sounds very cheesy, I know, but that's really it. And that's why I'm always happy to experiment. I want to also the second thing would be that I want to really die empty. And so that's something that really drives me as well. The fact that I want to give out everything that I know. I want to do everything that I want to do. I want to share everything that I like. I just want to explore, live, and just die empty without regrets. I put together one time in my life, I put together a list of things I would regret. If I died today, what are things that I would regret that I've not done? And when I did that, I thought to myself, okay, now this wasn't really long, so that's great. But is there anything here that I can still do? And I've gone ahead and I've done most of those things. So right now, if I had 3 months to live, I don't really think that there's anything that I would do differently. Like, I don't think that there's anything I'm going to do with so much urgency. Because if it was spending time with my family, I've done that. I do that now. Like, I do the best that I can to ensure that I don't die with regrets. And that has been really helpful for me. So if there's an idea that I have that I want to implement, I go right ahead. I do it. What's the worst that can happen? I could fail. But the worst thing that could happen is I could die tomorrow and I could die feeling bad and saying, oh my God, I wish I did that. But I could just do it and find out what I also hate not knowing. And so I like to do things just so I can know. Oh, was this great? Was this what I thought it would be? Did this surpass my expectation? And so these are some things that are driving forces for me. And along the line, those things now bring money. So I can't complain.
Yeah, that's so important. I want you to part of your experience. I don't know if you have met people like that, people that are not so enthusiastic about life, just like you are. People that are not just enthusiastic about achieving something in their life, and they're just
Mhm.
like they're just like this, Sarah, what would be, and nothing eventually get to be for them. I try to speak to those kind of people, but if you are to speak to those kind of people, what will you have said to them, and how will you have encouraged them to go for more? Because really, it's not really easy to risk things. Um, I don't want to say all, but for me, doing the little I'm doing currently, there's a whole lot I'm mixing. A whole lot, really, that's people on my neck that, no, this is what you're supposed to be doing. But I'm like, sometimes I get to think of it that, oh, what if this thing doesn't get to work and really become what I envision? But I was still ready to take up the risks. But some people are not ready to do that because when you look at yourself, when you look at your surrounding, and you want to move at the pace probably your mates are moving, you might not really want to stick with what you feel is your dream because it might not generate the kind of results at the pace that your friends are doing it. And you might want to divert and people don't want to take that risk. How will you want to approach or speak to those kind of people to encourage them and to go with what they should be doing?
So I met a lot of people like that. I also have friends who live Kisera Sera, and sometimes their lives are so much more exciting, to be honest, because They get to do random things because whatever will be.
Mm.
There are different types of Kisera Sera type of people. There are people who do stuff because whatever will be, and there are people who don't do stuff because whatever will be.
Yeah. I agree
So
with that a bit.
I don't think anybody is right. I don't think that anybody has it figured out. I think
Mm.
all our life experiences are different. All our realities are different. What two people can do the exact same things in two different countries, and one person would prosper, the other one would not. So there's no template. Everybody here is figuring it out. I think what you just have to do as a person is ask yourself what it is you want, right? And just be like, what does success look like for you? What does happiness look like for you? Don't define your success or happiness by anybody else. Don't define your results by anybody else. Just visualize your own life and say, if I died tomorrow, if I had 3 months to live, is this how I would be spending my life? Would I have regrets? Are there things that I would do differently? And then go from there. If you're not doing what it is you think you should be doing, then change. One of my favorite things about life is, I know it sounds really easy to say, but um, it's, how do I put this? You have control over a lot of things. You don't have control over a lot of things, but you have control over a lot of things as well. You can actually wake up today and decide that you want to be something else, and it might still be possible for you to achieve it. So maybe you might not become a footballer because you're already 40. Maybe you might not be a professional footballer, but maybe there's a kind of footballer you can be. If you said there was something that you want to be and you feel like this is the thing you want, look for people who are doing that thing and check, what did they do? How did they get there? Who do you need to speak for you? How can you also change your story and your life? Want things because you want them, not because you think that's what everybody thinks you should want. Um, if you really want to be happy, or you want to, like, I don't even know how sustainable happiness is, but if you just want to be content, um, do things for yourself, not for everybody else. Ask yourself, is this what I want for myself? Is this the kind of life I want for myself? And if this is the kind of life I want, what do I need to be doing to get to it? What do I need to do to achieve it? Is there any skill I need to learn? Is there any book I need to read? Is there anybody I need to know? Those kind of things. Don't pressure yourself to want things just because everybody's telling you that that's what you should want. On top of that, I would say pay attention to not comparing yourself with everybody else, but comparing yourself to yourself from the previous life, right? So it's like, me yesterday versus today, have I grown? The other third thing that I know that changes everything is by doing. Just waking up every day and doing something. That changes everything. You may not know, to be honest, I can't tell you that this is exactly what, like, when I thought about my life 5 years ago, I sat down and I was like, in 5 years' time, I would be on Forbes list. In 5 years' time.
Honestly, that was one of the questions I was going to ask you. That did you have a
Yeah.
list?
No, I didn't. I had a list, yes. I had a vision board of things that I wanted. But every time you achieve those things, you have new things that you want. So your vision board keeps changing, right? But you know what you want, you know the end goal, but you don't know exactly when it will happen. One, you also don't know what form and shape is going to take. I wanted to be a branding and comms person. Yes, my original motivation was to help Africans tell their stories better, find their unique selling point, tell their stories better. That was all I wanted to do. But somehow, in between, I have co-founded a company that has gotten acquired. I didn't see that in my vision. I have co-founded a nonprofit. I didn't see that in my vision. I have now, the nonprofit has trained over 100,000 people. I didn't specifically see that in my vision. Yes, our goal is to train 1 million, but the rate that it's going was not how we saw it. Like, it's different. You don't know how it's going to go. We know the destination, yes, but we don't know how we're going to get there for sure. All you have to just do is show up every day, one leg in front of the other. As long as you're moving, that's how it changes. And somewhere in between, things might tweak it. You might go faster, you might go slower, something cooler might happen. life is so unpredictable because you're not the only decision maker in your life, which is really weird. But there are other factors that play roles in what your life becomes. So just put one leg in front of the other. Just show up. Decide what the destination is for you, and just show up. I know I want to, the things that I want for myself. I know what I want, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there. I have some plans, but those plans are not set in stones because there are other factors that could change it. There were people who had big plans in Ukraine. They didn't anticipate the war. The war happened. For some people, their lives are going to end. For some, chaos is going to be a ladder. Their lives will change in 5 years' time. For some, they will lose all the money that they have, and their lives are going. Everybody's life is going to change. My question now is, for you, yes, you have a plan. Are you malleable with that plan? Are you showing up every single day, doing the little you can to bring you a little closer towards that destination that you're going? That's my thing. So I'm not asking you to have big dreams. I'm not asking you to be overly ambitious, but just think about the life that you want for yourself and ask yourself, are you taking the action to get you one step closer towards that life? If you are, fine. If you're not, as long as you're just not giving up, you know?
I think I still have a lot of questions, but I think if I had this interview or this conversation at this time, it's enough to bless a lot of people out there. I just want to ask a last brief, and we're going to end this session. Forbes 30, how was it for you? Was this something? Did you pray about it during the process, when the process was going? Was it something you were bothered about that you wanted when you started the process, or you're like, if it comes, it comes? And after seeing yourself on the list, how was your reaction on that? How do you feel like?
Mm. Okay, so funny story. Um, there was a time in my life where I was like, oh, Forbes 30 under 30, this would be nice to have. And then I remember putting a bunch of information together and people asking, how can they nominate me? How can they nominate me? So I sent them like, oh, you can nominate me. If you're nominating me, you can use this information and stuff. Then I think I was very active with my community on online. And so they were just really excited. They would nominate me and stuff. I didn't get called back. That period that plenty people nominated me. Nobody called me, nobody messaged me. So I guess I saw the list and I was like, oh, interesting. The next year I didn't the next year I did put together any list. I didn't ask anybody to nominate me. Um People nominated me. Then I got a message from Forbes that, oh hey, you've been nominated, you qualified to the next process. I did everything they asked us to do, all the information they asked us to provide, and it was a lot of information. Guess what? I saw the list. My name was not there. So when that happened, I was just like, you know what? Okay, it's fine. I mean, I'm good turning 29 this year. There's no need to be chasing, like, list don't. And I started telling myself all those things, like, list don't validate you, which is true. List don't validate you. You don't, like, you'd be fine. Just keep doing the work. Um, you don't need anybody to come and tell you you're doing a good job. The stories, the success stories, the transformation stories that you get from the work that you've done so far in every single space that you have impacted is good enough. And I was like, okay, cool. Then that year that I didn't win Forbes, or I didn't get on Forbes rather, I got a lot of awards. In my past life, people don't give me awards. Like I'm the girl you call to get the work done. But when it comes to awards, people don't remember to nominate me. And it was always so weird. But last year I got a lot of awards and I was like, okay, cool, what's happening? And I did not apply for them. I didn't nominate myself. So it meant other people were nominating me, right? And they were telling my stories from their own words and whatever. So I won a lot of awards. And then this year has been so interesting. Um, I don't know who nominated me. I don't know how many people nominated me. So thank you to everybody who did. You must have felt the presence of my work. I got contacted to do the full process again. I gave it my best, but I was like, if 30 people out of all the people in Africa, don't know. And then lastly, they now said, yeah, I got a yeah, I was just like, okay, and I left it. I knew that they were going to announce in April, but I just left it. Then one day I slept. I was so tired from working on a Sunday afternoon. Please don't work on Sundays, guys. But I had to because we had like a big deadline coming up. So I worked on a Sunday and I'd worked from Saturday into Sunday. So I had barely slept. So I was sleeping. I was catching up on sleep in the afternoon. And I don't sleep in the afternoon on my day, but I don't know what happened that day. And I woke up and I saw the email and I was in too much shock to have a reaction. I was just so I made Forbes list, okay, and all the people who are on this list are celebrities like from Nigeria, Thames, Grammy winner, Aresta, celeb, footballer, like just really big
Artifacts.
people. Yeah, do you understand? I'm just like, this is a this is a lot. So that made me so happy. But I don't think we're not allowed to talk about it. So I felt like my reaction was still bottled up, but it felt really, really surreal. It was such an honor. It was nice to see that my work over the last couple of years have like was recognized. And what was even cooler was not that I got the award. It was that when my friends heard that I got the award, they were like, yeah, long time coming, finally, it took them long enough. We expected it. And then I had people, mentors, or well, not mentors, but people that I really respect, rise back and be like, yeah, I mean, we're not surprised, but we're delighted, we're excited, and things like that. So that was really great. It was such a great feeling, and it's nice to know that I didn't really have a hand in it, except the work that I did. So like I didn't ask anybody to nominate me. I didn't ask anybody to like nothing really. People just came through for me based on the work that they've experienced that I've done. And that's how most things have been for me this year. So it's really touching.
Congratulations once again. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think one of the things that you said I can recall so much, and I'm not sure I will forget to say, is just show up and do what you have to do. And one of the rewards for doing that is what you just got first 30 and a lot of
Yeah.
things.
And like just as a word to everyone, it's like don't put yourself under and I think I tweeted this like the next day after I got for recognition because people were writing me and they were like, oh blessing, I'm 29. I don't even know what to do with my life. I'm 35. I feel like I've not started. And I'm like, you guys, don't put yourself under anybody's pressure, like under anybody's clock. There's so many opportunities to shine. Like there's so many lists, but it's fine even if you don't get on those lists, right? And I hear that, like I know that because I'm on list, I'm seeing this, but this was something I made peace with last year. Like even if I don't get an award, even if I don't get a list, even if I would not let my validation come from that. I would let my validation come from the results of my work and like the things that I tell myself and the things that the people around me tell me. The people who are really close to me that I care about their opinion. But most importantly, I will let my work speak for me. So let your work speak for
Wow.
you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
My name is Desna Abeng. I'm the co-founder of Ingressive for Good. And Tmod said I should tell you guys that I was recently featured on I was recently on the list for Forbes 30 under 30. I'm really excited to be here on In Talk with Tmod Moali.